The minute he mentioned Nathi Mthethwa's name, I asked myself, which criteria do they use when appointing Minister of Police? It cannot be that Nathi Mthethwa's name is appearing here. Bheki Cele's name is appearing here. Senzo Mkhulu's name is appearing here. This is one part of the testimony that actually broke my heart, because this is one of the reasons why he ended up taking his bag and going home. He resigned while he was acting as a national commissioner. So kule video uye wasithatha wasibuyisela emva ku-2011 xa waye-actor as the acting commissioner, appointwe nguJacob Zuma, i-minister of the time kwakunguNathi Mthethwa. Uyafika umntana omuntu as acting national commissioner kanti uzithela phezu kwetshala likaMdhluli. UMdhluli onamacala ayi-2 elokubulala plus elekhuphiswano lemali zasemsebenzini. Phofu efika yena ufika seke suspendwe ngoGeneral Cele. Xa befika afuna ukwazi ba ithini case kaMdhluli ihamba njani ayaziswe, that's okay. But at the time bongekabikho disciplinary measures in place, at okay ayisizamdiscipline departmentally ngokwasemsebenzini while beqhuba criminally ngokwazase court legally, no problem. Ayike ufikile why beqala iprocess yakhona. During that time ba busy ngeprocess yakhona, afumana icall esuka kuye uMdhluli uqobo. uMdhluli emxelela into yoba hayi lizochithwa ityala. Hayi ngokwenyani wayifumana confirmation ngaphansi kwe-instruction ka-advocate Mkhwebi yachithwa ityala. Usaqhuba yena ngapha ngokwazi asemsebenzini. Uthe kusesenjalo wafumana i-instruction ethi hayi anizukwazi ukudisciplina uMdhluli ngokwasemsebenzini. Oyena umuntu omela discipline ngu-CFO ngoba nguye umuntu owenza kube lula into yoba uMdhluli akwazi into yoba abhubhudle imali. Kubuya i-prosecutor, advocate Gadebe esithi hayi abakwazi into yoba bathi bayalichitha oMkhwebi because ngendlela abalichitha ngayo hayi ayondlela eright, siyaqhubeka ngecriminal. Eventually, in short, to cut matters short, labe ityala lisiwa left right center lichithwa njalo ityala likaMdhluli. Wathi xa kebona indlela bamsebenzisa ngayo ebona into yoba nayo uyazibhaqa eyiphathe and yayo yonke lento, wathatha ibhatyi yakhe wayixhoma ejeni wabaxelela wathi yena ndiyaresigna ngoku. It's okay. Uthe xa kathi uyaresigna wathi uNathi Mthethwa hayi vele ubungaqashwanga ndim ubuqashwe yipresident. Uye watsho wathi hayi it's fine ndizawubuyela kupresident ndomxelela into yoba ndiyaresigna. Umbuzo wami ithi uthe xa kefika kupresident ethi uyaresigna yavuma naye president. Remember ndisho into yoba xa kefika president ufike watsho into yoba uresigna phansi kwawaphi ama-reasons. Yathini president yona xa kethi uyaresigna?
Commissioners, when I spoke on the 5th of March 2025 in Parliament, I made a reference to the experience that I had from 2011. And what I see happening right now, it takes me back to 2011. And that makes me realize that I cannot just sit back and allow the irregularities that were happening in 2011 when I was the acting national commissioner to repeat itself, because it's going to become a culture, it's going to be embedded in how the justice system works in this country. Therefore, the citizens are not going to be safe. I've seen it in 2011 and it's happening again. As I said, commissioners, when you look at my profile that I presented on the first day, that I joined the top management structure of the South African Police Service in 2011 when I was appointed as an acting national commissioner, appointed by President Zuma at the time. I must indicate that when I was appointed, the person that was the Minister of Police was Minister Nathi Mthethwa. He was the Minister of Police. At that time, when I was appointed, the South African Police Service were always in the media regarding the activities at crime intelligence. Lieutenant Gen-Mdhluli was in the center of that. So there were two matters that were always in the media. Was about the death of a murder incident that happened in Vosloorus, as well as the corruption within crime intelligence secret fund account. I think that's where the name /fund came from. The secret fund account that I spoke about earlier that must be accounted for the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence. It was misused. When I came in, there was already, Gen-Mdhluli was already suspended. And he was suspended by General Cele at the time. That suspension was regarding the murder incident that happened in Vosloorus. When I came in and I asked the management about the status of the criminal case that I'm told is registered against Gen-Mdhluli, which involves corruption of crime intelligence secret fund account, I was informed that there was no disciplinary steps initiated yet at the time. So I directed that we must initiate the disciplinary steps against the second charge, which is corruption. I brought Gen-Mdhluli to brief him about it, and I appointed an investigating team to investigate, and in the concluded investigation, we are about to subject Gen-Mdhluli to a disciplinary hearing. And then Gen-Mdhluli, to my surprise, then contacts me and he says to me, his criminal case that is going to appear in the Commercial Crime Court in Pretoria is going to be withdrawn the following day. So I was perplexed and I said, but Jared Dramat, as the head of the Hawks, do you know about this? And he said, no, he's not aware. And indeed, commissioners, when the matter appeared in court, the matter was withdrawn. So I demanded to know the reasons for that. They finished me with a submission that was made by the Deputy National Head of NPA at the time, Advocate Mkhwanazi, where he gave the instruction to Advocate Mzinyati, who was responsible for that case, and Advocate Mzinyati then directed a prosecutor who was working on the docket, Advocate Bredenbach, who's a member of parliament now, to withdraw the case. So the case was withdrawn, simply because of Advocate Mkhwanazi, regardless of evidence. But the reasons Mkhwanazi put on his letter was that the arrest of Mdhluli, or this case being placed on the roll, it is not the responsibility of the SAPS, but it is the responsibility of the Inspector General of Intelligence. I explained earlier, commissioners, that crime will happen. If crime happens within the secret fund account, there must be audit, there must be accountability, and then the case must follow, which must be handled with care, but the case will follow. So similar to what is happening now, if there is any corruption within crime intelligence, that matter must be reported to the right structures and cases must follow thereafter. So at the time, the coordination of the information coming from crime intelligence to be given to an investigation team was facilitated by a senior officer within crime intelligence on an arrangement with the PCI. So the investigation was done correctly. But here's the case withdrawn, and citing the reason that the Inspector General of Intelligence is the one who's got a jurisdiction on this matter. So I took the case docket from court, and I stopped the disciplinary matter. I channeled both of them to the Inspector General of Intelligence. The Inspector General of Intelligence is a late Advocate Hadebe. She worked with an advocate that is currently, or is not within Inspector General now, but she's practicing. I gave both of them the letters, these cases, departmental and criminal. And I received a response from Advocate Hadebe, the Inspector General, on a disciplinary matter, where he says, charge the CFO, was Major General Lazarus at the time. Charge the CFO and not Mdhluli, because it's the CFO that knows how to manage the secret fund account, and he used that to benefit Mdhluli. Mdhluli didn't know anything about it. So Mdhluli is clear. So this is in black and white I receive. But I then said, I told Mdhluli and the minister at the time that, yeah, the Inspector General is saying this, but I'm not going to implement this because I want a response on the criminal matter. Imagine me uplifting Mdhluli's suspension, he comes to work, and the very same Inspector General says I must take the case docket back to court and Mdhluli must go and face a criminal case while he's back at work. It's going to look bad for me, not good governance. So I said, I'm going to wait until I get the second response. The second response came on the phone call. Inspector General said, please come, bring that letter I gave you, because I want to withdraw it. So my question was, why do you want to withdraw? And she says, no, we have studied the case docket, and the reason advanced by the National Director of Public Prosecution is misplaced. We as Inspector General are not responsible for criminal investigation, but our investigation results into us producing reports to Parliament, Joint Standing Committee, not to take it to court. So this case, Mdhluli must go and answer in court. So I gave her that letter. She withdrew it, and she wrote me a new letter to say Mdhluli must go and face his music in court. So I then said to Judge Drama, DPCI, send the case back to court. And I called Advocate Jiba, Nomgcobo Jiba was the acting national director at the time of prosecution, and I informed her, I said, your deputy withdrew this case in court. I want you to now attend to it because you are the head of the NPA. And she said she's in China at the time, I must send it back to Mkhwanazi. And then I told the disciplinary team that continue with the disciplinary case on Mdhluli. But now, to my surprise, commissioners, that Advocate Mkhwanazi wrote a second letter. And he said, I'm the National Prosecution Authority, we're working independently. I've taken a decision on this matter, therefore it's final, closed. That's how that case of Gen-Mdhluli died, by the signature of Advocate Mkhwanazi at the highest office of the NPA. So he killed that case like that. I'm glad now he's resurfacing against that corruption case. But it should have been dealt with then. But we had the players of Advocate Mkhwanazi in the highest office of the prosecution who decided, don't charge Mdhluli. As I said, commissioners, when you do something that is bizarre, you make me to start asking questions. So I started asking questions as to why is this behavior? So as I was digging more, I started seeing a different picture, which maybe I might reflect to later. But the details of this thing I'm talking about is in the affidavit that I deposited at Zondo Commission. Feel free, it's annexed, I think here, SC.
MK22, General.
Yeah, MK22. You'll be able to read it because it's got detail. It's quite a lengthy affidavit that I deposited about my experience at Crime Intelligence in 2011 to 2012 when I was acting, and how the secret fund account was misused by the players within Crime Intelligence that are still there today, that are fighting Khumalo today. They were there then, they are still there today. So there's never been any cleansing of Crime Intelligence, which is something the commissions, I would want you to pay attention on it. But this issue of Mkhwanazi to suddenly shut down the criminal investigation, which was a concern to me, and on it, while we are continuing with the departmental matter, after having received this letter from advocate to say Mdhluli must go to court, I received a phone call from the same Inspector General of Intelligence when I was driving home. She said, I must come back and bring back that decision, the final decision she made about the criminal case, because she has risked her career with making that decision of saying Mdhluli must be charged. She wants to withdraw that letter. So when I asked her, but why you want to withdraw the letter of a criminal case? You've read the case and you wrote to me and you say, Mdhluli must go and face the music. Why do you want to withdraw it? And she said, no. It's my career now in line. So I need to withdraw that. I made a wrong decision. I should not have said Mdhluli must be charged. Which means she touched the wrong people in the higher echelon of maybe within the police structures or in government that did not want Mdhluli to be charged. And I refused to come back and withdraw the letter. And then I received a phone call from the Minister of Police, Nathi Mthethwa, commissioners. I went to his residence in Waterkloof. And when I arrived there, the Inspector General is sitting on one side of the table, Mr. Mthethwa is sitting on the other side of the table. The minister says to me that I forced the Inspector General of Intelligence to write the letter that says Mkhwanazi is wrong, this matter must go to court. She said, I forced her. Then I told her, I said, no, Minister, Advocate Khateb is an old woman. She's an advocate. How can I point a gun at her and force her to write a letter? Besides, when this letter was written in her office, and she actually is not the author of the letter. The author of the letter is Advocate J. Governor, who is an experienced prosecutor person who's working in that office. She's the one that drafted the letter. Not you, not the Inspector General of Intelligence. The minister didn't want to hear any of that. A simple say, must stop prosecuting Mdhluli, or must stop disciplinary case against Mdhluli. Now, if we talk about political interference, that was the worst I've ever experienced. At that time, Commissioner, I come from the specialized operation. The only thing I know is to chase criminals. And I'm promoted to become the acting National Commissioner, and I'm confronted with this in front of me. And I said, but this is not what I signed for when I joined the police. This can't be right. The minister can't give me these instructions. Then I said to the minister, maybe you brought me into this position and you thought you were going to use me as a pawn because perhaps of my age or whatever, but you are wrong. I'm not going to do that. If you want me to stop charging Mdhluli, you must put it in black and white. And then the minister said, no, Inspector General, you must give something in writing to the National Commission to stop this investigation. Inspector General said, no, come with me to my office so I can give you a letter.